Oh, nah.
Remix. Explain. Come here, Lee. Dr. Joso. Rocket Bucket. I got fresh on the wall. Aye. So, from the lead, talk to me.
Everybody pot balling. My pot can ball. To end dollars. You gotta fuel it up. Behold, come on. Not a hustle. Papa coming home. We can buy spoons.
Everybody pop party, back and ball. You that you got to flat door. In the hole, to the hole, out of all my soul. I coming home, you can buy spoons.
Everybody pot body, my pocket ball. The only time my pocket ball when it cock hit it door. The struggle keep killing me, I ain't even got jaw. I got to hustle hard to buy my baby rubber jaw. The economic system by poor, Jenna Jehovah rat. Poverty was growing high, so I gotta speak the fact. You think I'm talking crap? No, I'm talking rap. Just to survive, that's why my nigga doing old school. Some people say we fool, some people say we go to school. Some people still asking what it's doing for the youth. The government breaking, so the youth is still checking. No entertainment, so we making no money. I'm telling it to y'all, I ain't having no jaw. That's what I stand for. My pot can't ball.
School fee coming send for school. Bust my pot, not balling. Russia in the city, got me kicking some dust. Cause my pot not balling. Surely say she be leaving me tonight. Cause my pot not balling. Landlord say I should leave tomorrow. Cause my pot not balling. Say now what I go do? Say what play I go go? Which kind of hustle I go hustle now? Say now what I go do? Say what I go eat? Which kind of hustle I go hustle now?
Everybody pop balling, but my pocket ball. Now everybody cutting shot, but why I can't call the whole cover hold, that the whole hustle. Send behold, you owe me one bottle. Now everybody for the set, only call for all. I hope in call for y'all, they want divine Congo all in the whole music game. Let me tell you what they think. See, they think the common people still don't know how to think they will land. Because they all are common men get common sense. I'm a common sense, made me to be intelligent. I understand all that BB10. Oh, you barely better get no content. When I want you as a president, too much BB talk and resort to negligence and neglected the building country no development. So embezzlement and the money to echo band, bidding other country dance, putting our resources where they importing back. We can never see no profit. Now we need a profit to come and take us from poverty to prosperity. For people crying every day.
Beatmasters exclusive.
Everybody pot falling. My pot can ball. To end dollars. You gotta fuel it up. Behold, come on. Not a hustle. Papa coming home. You can trust.
Eba coba, eba follow, eba loba. Help achieving through the struggle, make the hustle better. Red, white, and blue, I'm like a prophet on the cross. I'm bringing them the message, but no one can hear my voice. I've been downplayed, Ella be my talent, never lived it. Every message that I brought to them is I'm business. I'm a power with Paul, I support. Baby mama coming cheering, crying to the horse. I can't stop my hustle, I'm a real true believer. Give on the Caesar, what belong to Caesar. Now for my one for the second, mama like Bira. Don't be said I gon' get me, so you be a garbage. Who know hoping on the Lord that my life be established. Again I try, I think about my past. As a hustler, you gotta be strong in the face. You gotta double up, sometimes temptation come your way. Ever when my pass out the ball, as a ball, the whole LIB they gonna know what's up. What's up, they gonna know what's up.
Life so hard, it seem a little nigga gotta hustle just to keep on a job. And they say it's only politics, but it's just some politics. They just all about getting the dollar shit. This is for my hood niggas in the G hustling. And for all my single mothers struggling and suffering. No more election, they just do a selection. That's why them niggas always using a deadly weapon. And to all my youth, them better keep your head up. Wake up in the morning, make your bed, get your break up. Even the leadership did some DRRT, but only Charles Taylor in the egg, ICC. Even the leadership did some DRRT, but only Charles Taylor in the egg, ICC.
Everybody pop body, man, back and ball. You got to flat dog, I don't want my soul. I'm back coming home, you get back. Everybody pop body, my fucking ball. So I still live in Seahawks. I said, G.O. when y'all will pass the bill, my long will be faithful like Joe, D.O. come on, hold like the whole hustle. I can't let go. I'm gonna tell you how I come home. I get by smooth GH, get it by body. Are we forgetting? I was better, I was doing going up or S. But they will always show their respect. Give it a wee, let me take my track. And on the way, I will cancel my stress. I said, me like that. My Eddie, I wish you gave me your ear. It said, drop it sweet. Over eating my until the meat get dry. In the teaching, I said us. How the culture will buy us. Aye, brakata. Don't slow. From the lead, talk to me.
Everybody pot balling. My pot can ball. To end Dallas. You gotta fuel it up. Behold, come on. Not a whole soul. Papa coming home. Can pass spoons. And I watching I go do. Which kind of hustle like a hustle now. And I watching I go do. Which kind of hustle like a hustle now.
I wear so many different hats, whether it's mother, horse lover, artist. Surfer is the one that I think a lot of people don't associate with because of my image and my career as a model. Growing up between Florida and Virginia, was always in the water. It's just quite meditative. I find that when I'm surfing, I can have solace. My name is Carolyn Murphy. I am a mom, a model, and a surfer.
Yeah, Unega, above, Arebo, Jesus. Money finit go, your money finit go, your money finit go, your money finit go, your money finit go. Money finit go away. Your money finit go away. Your money finit go away. Oh yeah. Mulia kwe mumbayo. Mulia kwe mumbayo. Mulia kwe munjayo. Mulia kwe munjayo. Ay, baba la mufaya. La guerrero, papa la mufaya. La rapeo, la mola mufaya. La guerrero, la mola mufaya. La rapeo, the baba people come, will catch you. Baba people come, will catch you. Nobody like you, like I do. Nobody like you, like I do. Better days ahead. Better days ahead. You enjoy. I'm a prover. Find a prover. Come a prover. From a prover. Find a prover. Find a prover. From a prover. Your money finit go. Your money finit go. Your money finit go. Money finit go away. Your 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 money finit go away. Mulia kwe mumbayo. Mulia kwe mumbayo. Mulia kwe munjayo. Mulia kwe munjayo. Baba la mufaya. La guerrero, baba la mufaya. La rapeo, la mola mufaya. La guerrero, la mola mufaya. La rapeo, the baba people come, will catch you. Baba people come, see, will catch you. fresh the water. Sometimes like a pump water. Then you in a alleyway. Don't be talking by your friend. Just pulling a cool. You do your own no talking. I do my own like talking. I'm gonna live on living, yes, so. I'm gonna let my people living, yes, so. Your money finit go, your money finit go away. Your money finit go, your money finit go away. Your money finit go, your money finit go away. Your money finit go, your money finit go away.
Good evening and welcome to Focus on Liberia. My name is Dennis Jar. Today is a continuation of our topic, Elections 2017, that is your choice in Elections 2017. With me to discuss your choice, Elections 2017, I have a representative from the ANC, that is the Alternative National Congress, Mr. Mohamed El Kamara, aka Kamara Little. Mr. Kamara, welcome to Focus on Liberia.
Thank you for having me.
I also have Mr. Randolph Glee, who is an independent analyst on the show tonight. Mr. Glee, welcome to Focus on Liberia.
Thank you so much.
Coming in later, we're going to be having on the phone Mr. Randall Dubayu. He's the current Secretary General of CDC USA. Mr. Dubayu will be connecting with us via phone. We also have Mr. Gakon Mower, who is from the Movement for Economic Empowerment, MOVE. He's also going to be joining us live on the phone. Gentlemen, welcome to a live discussion.
Thank you so much.
I want us to begin quickly by just a brief introduction of yourself. I have here Mr. Kamara Little, who's representing the ANC, or who is a member of the ANC and Cummings for Liberia. Mr. Kamara, just say a little brief thing about yourself.
Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Mohamed Kamara. I go by the name of Little Kamara. And Well, I joined ANC as a member in 2015, and when I heard about Mr. Cummings in Atlanta, Georgia, I went to one of his hall meeting, and he was well, spoken, and I thought that maybe this is the right guy for the job. And after listening to him and going after doing my own research online and following up with him, then I became to decide that this is the right man for the job.
Thank you, thank you. And Mr. Glee, you are an independent. You are not committed to any political party.
Yeah.
Just say a little thing brief about yourself.
I'm G. Randolph Glee, and I hail from Liberia, and former student leader from the University of Liberia, the current PhD student at Clark Atlanta University, and it's a pleasure being on your show.
Thank you. Here on Focus on Liberia, we discuss everything about Liberia. Tonight, our topic is your choice in elections 2017. October 10 will be elections in Liberia, and it's so crucial that we discuss this so that we can have free, fair, and democratic elections. I want to start with you, Mr. Kamara. You are supporting Mr. Cummings. I want you to tell us why you think Mr. Cummings is the best person for the job, who can win these elections in October 10.
Well, I tell you why Mr. Cummings is the best person for the job as far as we're all concerned, looking at his record and looking at Mr. Cummings from the outside perspective, with all what he has gone through to work your way all the way from the corporate ladder in America, with all these things, racism and all the stuff we go through as a black man and also as an African especially, for him to go up and be executive, I think that Liberian will be well deserved if they decide to make him the president of Liberia, because he is well qualified and he has what it takes to lead Liberia forward. One
of the criticisms I get about Mr. Cummings is that he's new. Okay, so the question is, where have you been, Mr. Cummings? How do you answer that?
Well, that's simple. You cannot tell. A doctor can never be new. Doctors can come to a hospital no matter what time, whatever, and still be old doctors. You cannot tell somebody who knows their job they're new. Mr. Cummings is qualified, and I'm telling every one of you who are listening today, whatever you are in Liberia or outside of Liberia, I'm telling you that this man is not new. A new person is somebody who does not know what they're doing. But somebody who knows what they're doing, they are not new. Mr. Cummings he knows the job and he's qualified for the job.
Thank you. Right now we have our another guest who's on the phone. That's Mr. Randall W. Randall W is representing the Coalition for Democratic Change. Mr. W, if you're there, we want you to please first introduce yourself and tell us briefly why you think your candidate is the best person for the job.
Thank you very much. I'm glad you guys are online. I was prepared for 6 p.m. Central Time, but
can you lower your radio? I mean, your phone in the background for feedback, please. We're giving feedback.
Yeah, there's nothing in the background. I just talking on the phone.
Go ahead.
Yes, I'm Randall Masekwa-Doba II. I'm the Secretary General of CDC USA and also a communication specialist on the national campaign team CDC. They have come to discuss with Liberians in America, Liberia, and everywhere in the world our agenda, the agenda for the transformation of Liberia. So in today's presentation, I will be statistically empirical. I'll be tangible in my presentation. I'll be reasonable in terms of what we can achieve as a government and why the people of Liberia should elect us. So basically, I will discuss our platform, which has 4 pillars, and if the time is available, we go in depth in those pillars, why those pillars were selected, and how are these pillars rich enough to provide the necessary social, economic, and political revolution that Liberia needs. Our country, Liberia, since its foundation, 1847, has gone through several republics. It has gone through several eras that are shaded with untold suffering and abject poverty. We have had government come and go. We have had the oligarchy, the iron law oligarchy, where a manipulation of our population have always been at the echelon of greater power, while the vast majority roaming abject their property.
Okay.
Our party CDC.
Mr. Dubayo. Mr. Dubayo, thank you very much. Just briefly, why you think your candidate is best suited for the job? If we can start from there.
My candidate is best suited for this job because of the institution that he represents and because of the character that he is. And firstly, our political institution was founded on a resolute conviction for change. A change really shielded with the vision of concrete transformation. Our party, which Joshua represents, is a collective effort from the chromosome of the masses. So because Joshua is a complete representation of the majority of Liberian people, because Joshua went through vertical social mobility, because of his first-hand understanding as to what the ordinary man in Gibraltar needs, because of his first-hand empirical knowledge as to what it means to be ostracized as a young man in society, because of his first-hand understanding, knowing what the man in Nikutan, the man in Bokonjida, the man in Togbaitan, the man in Kample, all the way in Clay, because he understands what those people need. It makes him the man best suited to lead Liberia in this critical period of our most important name. Right now, Joshua is the most experienced politician in the race in terms of consistency as an opposition since the last war ended in 2003. Joshua has been in opposition for the past 12 years. In last two elections, he has been the only major opposition, putting this government on its feet, ensuring that those nutrients required for the people are provided them. Unfortunately, those nutrients were not provided them. The government has made a lot of promises that are yet to be achieved. The promise to connect all the 15 political capitals at the end of their second term, the Unity Party.
Thank you.
An effort that is yet to be realized. Our government, CDC government, is in at promoting infrastructure development, which is captured in Period 3 of our constitution, of our platform.
Thank you,
Mr.
Dubayo.
Yes, he led Joshua because Joshua has the intellect, he has the nationalistic prowess, he has the real understanding as to what Liberia needs to transform Liberia from the dungeons of abject poverty to the oasis of endless prosperity.
That's great. Mr. Dubayo, I want to follow up on that a little bit. What really people are questioning Joshua on is not the love for the country. Many people credit him for loving Liberia. Their issue with him is preparedness for the job, his qualification, and being able to manage or work as president. That's where the issue many people are having with him. His qualification, his communication skill, and how prepared is he to lead Liberia. That's where the question is. How do you speak to that, please?
Then they should question their understanding of preparedness. Liberia is a country of law. We have a constitution which spells out the requirements and the criteria a person should meet to become president. Joshua has met what is called legal qualification. Anything that is not legal, it doesn't meet it doesn't meet my conversation. Since it is a legal issue, we say as Judge we are not at the position that the Constitution asked him. Yes, the Constitution says 35 years of age and you must have had as well as the property in the country. He met all of those. But beyond that, when it comes to other advantages, let us say Joshua has been an opposition for 12 years. While serving as opposition, he has made an effort with this government, serving as peace ambassador.
Thank you.
He has helped to reconcile the country. More than that, Joshua is now a senator. As a senator, there are innumerable contributions he has made to our country in a limited period of 2 years compared to other lawmakers.
Okay.
So I don't know what.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Dubayo. We'll come back to you.
Can you hold your thought? We're going to come back to you.
We're going to come back to you. Please hold your thought right there. Mr. Glee, you've heard from ANC about Mr. Cummings, and you also heard from Mr. Dubayo. I think there's a fair point there when he said George Weah had met the qualification to become president, has enshrined in the Constitution. How do you look at both the ANC position and also what Mr. Dubayo has said?
I think for the good of the listeners, it will be fair enough to do justice by giving some historicity of our election in Liberia. The first election that was held in Liberia was held October 5th, 1847. And at the time, people said it was one-party system, but that is another ball game that others said that it's not true, because at the time they had a true Liberian party and the true Wing party. But that is just it. We have 1847 to 1878 emerging democracy. We have 1878 to 1980 the de facto party, true Wing party, and now we have a military regime. Why am I giving all of these historicity of election? Because the very guys who said True Wing Party was now taking over the leadership and they were not giving a fair game. The very first opportunity they had, the first election that we saw that we consider to be multi-party election, was the 1985 election. The 1985 election, we had all of the political parties. I felt that we guys would work together to produce a candidate for the good of the citizen. But instead, we had 9 political parties, 6 were denied, and 3 participated. The first election in 1985, what are those political parties? NDPL, Liberal Action Party, Liberal Unification Party, Unity Party. They produced 4 candidates. Do you think they really mean business for us when it comes to political institutions? 1997, we went to the election. We had 13 political parties. Do you think politicians mean well for Liberians? These are guys that are jumping from political institution to another political institution for the good of their family and not the good of those that are living in Sodiwe, and not for the good for those that are living in Nikapo, not for the good of those guys that are selling waterside that got no means that want to try into business. They got no means of getting money from the bank. They are not there. Look at 2005. We had 22 political parties. If even you try to divide the political parties among the political subdivision, there will still be remainder. Now, for 2017, we got 26 registered political parties, and those are participating now. Some of the political parties registered, but they could not even produce stand-up bearer. What's your motive? Now we got 22 with stand-up bearer. What is the purpose? Now you look at political institutions. Let's take, for example, what Rana Dubai said. His political institution was founded on what? Transformation. Few months back, you just spoke that Speaker Tata was head of the criminal cartel. But Speaker Tata came to your political institution, you held him with full arms. I don't know where you got the other 2 from. You embraced him to the highest. Few days ago, this guy from Grand Bassa, the former pro-tem, Bezang Afine, this guy was known to be head of the cartel. You guys criticizing that he was not good. 2 o'clock, this guy introduced how to call it, the vice president in Grand Bassa. And because his selfish aim was not achieved, the next day he came, when CDC was launching, he was on top of car. From my perspective, politicians are not doing good for our country. I'm looking for someone with an entrepreneurial mind. America today, to be developed, it is not a government. It's the individual, the life of people. Can we have, as I look into the platform, I'm not seeing anybody who is prepared to really empower the youth. We got one state-run university, the University of Liberia, has the population of over 30,000 students. The government is unprepared to take care of that particular university. But yet and still, we have 22 political parties.
So Mr. Glee, what are you saying? Are you saying of all 22, there's no one ready, or you think
for now they are not prepared? I'm not seeing a candidate. I'm not seeing their platform that will be able to market it to really meet the goals and objectives of current Liberian status. People talk about, every time people talk about, oh, just came from civil war. Have you checked Rwanda? Go and check Rwanda. Go and check their history. See where they are today. But we got such a political hustler. Now they have divided themselves into political, all of the 22 political institutions. They spread themselves so that at the end of the day, they will succeed. Good. So for me, I'm going to stay on the fence until I see that person that will be able to market, that I can see his view that will represent the Liberian people.
Mr. Kamara, up to now, Mr. Glee have sent no one of all the 22 political parties and candidates. Yes. And he has put everyone in the same basket that not all of them. So how do you tell Mr. Glee about your candidate?
Well, what I'm going to tell Mr. Glee is, first of all, with all these things he has mentioned, I understand his point of view. I understand his frustration. We all feel the same pain about Liberia. We are all frustrated. I mean, come on, 170 years is enough. This is about time we put stop to this frustration. And I'm going to tell him right now, while he's sitting right next to me, that Mr. Cummings, ANC party, we are the change maker. ANC party is here to bring change. And if he agree with me, we can give him our agenda, and our agenda is straightforward. The first thing we're going to start off with is infrastructure. You cannot move around Monrovia or Liberia. Monrovia is not Liberia. We have to have that clear in mind. Like, there's many parts of Liberia. We all go to Liberia, we stay in Monrovia. How you going to know if other places are developed? How you going to know? And we have been everywhere. I just left Liberia a few weeks ago. And I'm telling you, I did not just stay in Monrovia. I traveled everywhere in Liberia. I went to Sano County. I went to Niba County. I went to Lofa. And I saw the frustration in the eyes of the Liberian people. And I understand how they feel. That's what I'm telling Mr. Glenn right now. ANC party, we are not just talking, we are doing. And we are not just here to just tell people what have happened for 170 years. We are here to tell you what we're going to do moving forward. That is our goal.
It is often said that it is easier said than done. Yes. Okay, we have a country that is, not developed. Our economy is very, very poor. And then infrastructure-wise, we are not there yet. Electricity, water, you're talking about corruption, all these things. What is ANC view, or how does ANC plan to be that change that's going to convince someone like Mr. Glee that truly ANC is able to deliver?
Well, what I can tell him is, like Mr. Comey said in his agenda a couple of weeks ago, he sent out a short video. Our third thing on our agenda is water development and electricity, which is part of together. And what I can tell you is, Mr. Comey always emphasized that investment, private entity, is going to be the key to developing Liberia. Private entity. In order for us to move forward, just like Mr. Glenn said, he said it earlier. He said Liberia cannot move forward if we not invest into private entity. And we, as ANC, as Mr. Comey's members, we always emphasize the importance of investment and importance of business. So our goal is to him to understand that we are not just going to rely heavily on the government. We're going to also rely on private institutions to help in developing the water facility.
Thank you. And in a short while, we'll be going to our representative from the Movement for Economic Empowerment. But before that, Mr. Glee, we have October 10th for elections. Yeah. Liberia cannot wait any longer to find that Mr. Right. So right now, if elections were held tomorrow, well, you're not going to vote for anyone?
I'm not going to vote. I think it's my right.
And still,
not to ready to vote.
And still, so with that, what are you looking for specifically?
It's just very simple. It's like a child who saw this person and said, look, this is what I believe, and I believe my dream is about to be realized. Now, only for the child vision, dream to be caught up is where the young breed without greed that are trying to make history in Liberia, this is where we find ourselves. The reason why I'm speaking, we saw Madam President, Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. We saw her as answer to problem. But now, after 12 years, just little that you can see compared to what was invested. Then the contradicting part of it, the vice president now who is willing to take over, he said that they had a lot of opportunity that was squandered. That's what the vice president said. But he will be the change maker. But he said,
I've been parked for 12 years.
He said,
he more been say I've been parked. You're a VP. You've been parked for 12
Can I complete?
Years.
Can I complete, Mr. ANC?
Yes, sir.
When he said that he was not the squander opportunity, after he said the squander opportunity, I said, okay, let me see what he's going to do. But he was able to bring the 10 men, the speaker, to be his vice president, to be his running mate. He was able to bring one-time dean of the cabinet and former finance minister to be the head of his campaign. And he was also endorsed by almost all of the members of the first branch of government. There's a sharp contradiction. It's almost like you say, look, I don't like your hand, but let me use your eyeball to walk. What's that?
All right.
That's why we are asking you that we need a new regime. We need everything.
Can someone in Yahweh Mesno know about ANC agenda?
Yes.
Can someone in Halakal Ezekiel know what ANC is?
Yes.
We're not just
As
talking
I'm
about
saying here, I know
Monrovia
where
base.
ANC VP is as
We
of now.
know. I am talking about political institutions that will be willing to market their ideas to ordinary people and not just move as a political to move. You try to make yourself like a political wing, you just blow and later on you come down.
No.
Some of us, we are rooted and granted in politics. We are prepared to work with team that is prepared because political party is government in waiting.
All right. Hold
not
that.
to just build around individuals.
Thank you. We want to, at this time, is Mr. Gakon Moab from Move on the line. Mr. Gakon Moab, you are representing the Movement for Economic Empowerment in Liberia. Please tell us briefly what your party or your candidate can do differently or why you think he's best suited to be the one to deliver our country. All right. We will be going back to Mr. Mr. Gakon Moab, please go ahead and call the studio. At this time, we will go back to Mr. We will go back to Mr. Glee. Mr. Glee. Mr. Glee, what's your problem with the ANC?
The ANC, I can say this for free, and you like to take it. There are 3 political institutions in Liberia, and those 3 political institutions will live forever. Student Democratic Alliance Political Party on the campuses of the University of Liberia, Student Integration Movement, SIN, Student Unification Party, SUP. These are institutions. Whether rain or shine will stand forever.
Yeah, those are student organizations.
And they are there. They are built. They are built and they support each other. But now you say, what problem do I have with ANC? If you look at the lifestyle and everything of Mr. Cummings, he climbed the corporate ladder very well from nowhere to somebody. He's somebody that you can mentor to say, oh yes, he's a very good guy. He can make it. But look at some of the people that he wants to produce as his representative in the house. Takun J. Takun J. Mr. Cummings, man, you grew up in the United States of America. You know a parliament who should be. Now, you're marketing Takun J to go represent a district I ran up believe from in Liberia. I know you don't have the power, but you as head of this particular institution, you should be able to market your vision that those that will come around you will trust you.
If that's the case, then we should also complain about because we have got some people in his institutions that they have no ideas what leadership means, but they are still running.
That's the reason why Reinhard Glee is telling you he's independent. I'm not policing any political institution. But what I'm saying, one, Mr. Cummings could have ideas and everything. But as I was saying with Madam President, she told us all of the good ideas. When she got there, nothing. She said in 6 months' time, she will electrify Monrovia. It's been 12 years now.
So your problem with the ANC or Mr. Ellis Cummings is about those that are running for the House on the ANC ticket.
Those are running for the House, how well and prepared when it comes to him marketing the organization to various people. And
this got nothing to do with what he represents and what his platform is and what he hopes to do for Liberia. Has a political candidate. All right. All right. But hold that thought. Let's go to the Movement for Economic Empowerment. That's Gakon Moab calling from Chicago. Gakon, welcome. I think you got the question. If you didn't, just briefly introduce yourself and why you think the Movement for Economic Empowerment being led by led by your candidate is the one suited best to lead Liberia. That's Mills Jones. Please go ahead, Mr. Moore.
currently going on. But to be quite frank, to tell you why I think Dr. Jones is the one that is capable to transform Liberia from 170 years of living in total abject poverty to take Liberia forward. I think he is the one that has the vision, that is capable, that has the strength and knowledge. He has the technical know-how. He understands where Liberia is, and he understands the needs of our people. Me saying that, you know, the slogan of our party is poverty is now destiny. For the past 30 years, since I have been living, since I have been knowing Liberia, over 85% of our population has always been in poverty. When Dr. Jones was tested in 2006, he showed Liberians that, yes, there is a way that we can empower Liberians, that we can put money in the pockets of our own Liberians. Not only that, Dr. Jones took our not knowing financial institution, the Central Bank of Liberia, from having $5 billion in its reserve to growing it to where now today we have a modern structure, a strong financial system in Liberia. Not only that, our villagers have to come all the way to Monrovia to put money in banks. They can stay in the various counties today. They can be able to go to banking centers within their counties. Not only that, Dr. Jones opens a way for, you know, loaning financially to, you know, people that were frowned upon. You know, if you didn't have a Johnson, if you didn't have an English last name, you know, those people were not given a chance to have to borrow from banks. Dr. Jones, through his financial inclusion policy, a lot of Liberians, the market women, the villager, the people that you know that were not qualified to open bank accounts had the opportunity to borrow money, and those people pay the money back. But you know, the issue of mobile money, making sure that banks have a security before they can come, you know, in the country and open a bank, you know, because back in early 2090, banks were closing, people were going without money, they were standing in long lines. So Dr. Jones make it possible for, you know, the country to have a strong financial institution in Liberia today.
Thank you.
I don't know whether you want me to start with who Dr. Jones is, but this is someone who, upon graduation from the American University on...
Mr. Moore.
Okay?
Thank you, Gakan. We'll go on a short break and we'll be right back. Again, you are watching Focus on Liberia, and we are discussing your choice in elections 2017. We'll be right back after a short commercial break.
Where did I go, yo?
Hello.
Speaking about my nation.
Many times people ask me, where do you come from? And I say,
for some reason, I don't know. You guys are low again. I can't hear you all. I don't know if it's me, but...
Liberia is my home. Liberia is my home. Anywhere that I go, Liberia is my home. Anywhere that you go, Liberia is your home. Anything that I do, Liberia is my home. Anything that you do, Liberia is your home. Mama, oh, Papa, oh, sister, oh, Liberia is your home. Anything that I do, Liberia is my home. Anything that you do, Liberia is your home. Mama, oh, Papa, oh, sister, oh, my brother, oh. Shall stay. We are all representatives and ambassadors for this great breaking nation, Liberia, yeah. Liberia, 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 Liberia is my home. 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 Maurice Jordan says Liberia is his home. The Council Ramos says Liberia is his home. Zach Ramos says Liberia is his home. ZTT says Liberia is her home. Why you passing with Liberia in his heart? Liberia is my home. Liberia is my home. Liberia is my home. Papa, oh, Liberia is my home. Mama, oh, Liberia is my home. Papa, oh, Liberia, Mama, oh, Liberia is my home. Anywhere you go, anything that you do, let your actions reflect positive image of Liberia. Many times people ask me, where do you come from? And I say,
Welcome back to Focus on Liberia. We are discussing for tonight elections 2017 and your choice. With me, I have a representative from the Alternative National Congress, Mr. Mohamed El Kamara. On the lines, I have Mr. Gakon Moab from the Movement for Economic Empowerment, that's MOVE. And also on the line, I have Mr. Randall Dubayu from the Coalition for Democratic Change. Also, I have an independent-minded person who is not committed to any political party. In fact, he does not support any of the 22 political parties in candidates, and he's not going to be voting for them if elections were held today. Mr. Randall Glee. Gentlemen, welcome back to Focus on Liberia. We are
you.
broadcast live from Atlanta, Georgia. Right now, I want us to go briefly and see, Liberia has everyone who's coming, a presidential candidate want to solve a problem. There's an issues that you want to address. Mr. Glee, I know you are not committed to any political party. What do you think the issue is in Liberia? I know we may have many issues. What are our key issues and what kind of person you're looking for to solve those issues?
One of the issues, the key issue that I believe that we should be looking at here is education. If you transform the mind of the person, you transform their thinking and their behavior and their attitude. So minus education, nothing will happen. It's almost like taking someone from Yahoo Mesno and bringing them to live in Twins Tower, maybe where. Sooner or later, they're going to turn that particular place to Nima County and beat GB in a certain place. Why? It has to do with what? I'm from Nima. I'm just very clear. I don't think I have to apologize for that. I'm from Nima. So if any other person will say, those who know me, they know very well that I police that. I police that particular county very well in everything that I do. But I'm just giving a literal example. I don't want to say this trap, but I'm talking about where I'm from. So what am I saying? Education should be the priority.
All right.
And when you do education, you also have to empower the people. Let's take, for example, if you're telling me that I'm working and I leave on job with $100, but you got a representative that take away $15,000, what are you telling me? Where is the policy? What's the reason of having policy in a country? Where are the laws? But we're not seeing that. Education, like, it's a sad thing that we'll have somebody called education minister and he makes mockery out of education and you stay keeping in the ministry.
All right. So your issue is education.
Yeah.
As long as the education part is correct, everything is good. So if
it's
you look,
all connected. It's not just education alone. There are other things that are connected to education. Because when you're talking about education, you should have someone who is schooled to understanding the criminal justice system that will be able to reform the criminal justice system. It all fall under education. So you're not just going to collect somebody and give them position because they're related to you. So that's why when you talk about education, education is holistic in answering questions.
All right.
To
thank you.
A nation.
I'll go to you, Mr. Kamara. Liberia may have many issues. Which of those issues you consider key, and what is your party or your candidate doing to solve those issues?
Well, I just left Liberia in 2 weeks, so I can't. This is, even to me personally, to me the key issue right now in Liberia is two things, but I'm going to tell you the first one we need right now. We need security. Liberians need to feel secure. You can have whatever you want. Education comes with security. All the things we're talking. We need people to feel secure. We need people to feel secure around. And even if you traveled around Nimba County, you travel everywhere, you need people to feel like, okay, you know what, I feel security. Even, you see why people in America, a lot of them don't go back to Africa now in Liberia, because they feel that it's less secure. But if we can have, ANC is focused, our main goal is, first thing is to focus on security, and the second thing is citizen, economic citizenship. And economic citizenship is a word that we use in our ANC camp, which we're going to, in terms of investment, in terms of for citizens to have jobs. And so if we can have security, then we can provide jobs for people. That's our main focus.
How do we get this job? How the job is going to be provided?
Invest in terms of bringing investors.
How do you bring the investor when you're not having, when the minds are not prepared? Because it's almost like what happened during the time you had Lanco. You open Lanco without schooling citizens of that particular region how to operate the mountain. So we brought people from Brazil, we brought people from other areas, and those citizens there, they were only used as what? Drivers. Well, and at the end of the day, so if you're telling me your priority now is to empower, I mean, how to call it, is to be able to bring economic empowerment when the minds are not prepared, how do you do that? If I take now a construction company, how many engineers? How many engineers will be able to work with that particular company?
We're not just looking at, see, that's the thing about, like,
I'm just giving one example.
You look at Liberia, that's some of the problem we have. We're not using sometimes common judgments. And that's a big vocabulary that we need to understand. Common judgment is very simple. In Liberia, people look at, oh, we need big company, we need this. No. When we're talking about investments, we're talking about small company, even rubber company to make plastic, to make shoes. Liberia can't even make shoes. Liberia can't even make plastic. Go to Guinea. I traveled to Guinea. When I was on my way back to America, I stopped in Guinea. I stopped in Ivory Coast.
How many industries there that can school people to do that? That's what I'm talking about. Just talking about education.
You're talking about looking at engineer. You're talking about big things like go to school for 4 years, 5 years before you do it. No, I'm talking about economic citizenship, investment. When we bring small company, that will be able to, you can work, even you don't have education. When you have high school degree, you can read and write. You can be able to work for a simple company.
Right.
Just the same way in America. There are people who work in a company, simple company here, they have only high school diploma. So if you're going to tell me that we're going to sit down and wait for another 4 or 5 years before we school people, before we bring economic empowerment, that means we are wasting our time.
Right,
no, and that's not what I'm saying.
Mr. Glee, I think economic empowerment is all connected to education. So if people are empowered economically, it still means that they're educated. But we want to go back on the line to Mr. Gagon Moe. Are you still on the line?
No, you still have Randall.
Oh, Dubai.
And then Mr. Randall Dubai, are you still on the line? Okay, we want to go back to Mr. Randall Dubai. Mr. Randall Dubai, if you are on the line. All right, we'll please call the studio. The number is 404-300-3925. Please call the studio and be part of the conversation. The number to call is 404-300-3925. Again, we are talking about the issues that are confronting the country. I have heard when Mr. Cummings spoke during the debate, everything was about the economy. I heard from Mr. Dr. Jones, he said leadership. For the certain VP, he said everything is road, road, road. The CDC, most of the time, when we talk about Josh Weir, we talk about the love for the country. So, but before that, we want to go to Mr. Randall W. Mr. W, tell us from the CDC perspective, what are the key issues confronting Liberia, and how is the CDC-led government is going to tackle those issues?
Thank you very much. On our agenda for the transformation of Liberia on period 1. But before going to that, let me say that I don't feel treated unfairly on this program. I'm not a spectator. I am one of your guests. Advertisement was made for more than a week, and the guys in the studio have more leverage than me. My institution name is on the line here, and I must have time to adequately disseminate to the listening audience on what I can do. So the audience can judge me right. I've not been treated fairly. The studio guests have been given more leverage than other panelists. In my fair judgment, is not wrong. Now, to your question, what are the key issues? Our platform, Pillar 1, is a power to the people. Pillar 1 capture education. Why did we take education? Agree with Brother Glee. Education, spreading, enlightening, or widening the horoscope.
We are having some technical difficulty with that line, and so we'll be moving forward if Mr. Gakon Moe, because our goal here is to treat everyone equally. We are just having some technical difficulty in studio. So if you are there, please call us. The number to call is 404-300-3925. We want to apologize to Mr. Dubayu and also Mr. Moe on the line. We're having some technical difficulties. But please call us anytime at any point. So as I was saying, I listened to Mr. Cummings, who saw everything within the economic lens. So even up to reconciliation, he said it has to do with the economics. Okay. That's right. When I listen to Dr. Jones, it's all about leadership. He says because of leadership. When I listen to Josh Weir, I hear the love for the country. The love and what can I do for the country. Mr. Glee, let me start with you. Looking at Liberia's issue, is it about roles? Is it about leadership? Is it about the economy? Or is it what, from an independent perspective?
All is very important when it comes to the Liberian issue. The road is very important. Once upon a time, Lofa and Nima were the bread basket for Liberia when it comes to our food supply. If you have bad road, there is no way that they can bring their produce to town. And when you're talking about leadership, if you have group of guys, if you have people in leadership that lacks the capacity, the capacity to really provide leadership by directing and being earnest to what they're doing, and you have a leader that is also there, that is not setting deterrent, meaning people go about eating money and not doing those things. So our issue is holistic. When you talk about road construction, when you talk about education, when you're talking about the criminal justice system, so all is very important.
Great. Please hold that thought, and we have a caller on the line. Caller, your name and where you're calling from, please. Welcome to Focus on Liberia.
U.S.
Go ahead, please. Caller, your name and where you're calling from.
Hello?
Hello?
Yeah, go ahead.
I said my name is John Sunday. I'm calling from Maryland.
Okay, go ahead.
Welcome, John. Your question or
go
comment,
ahead with my
please.
comment.
Yes.
I was calling to address the issue regarding leadership in the country and what we did. That was one of the questions that was raised by your host. I think the Congress for Democratic Change addresses the most important issue that is faced by the country, and that issue is education. Unfortunately, Mr. Glee on the show is undecided. It's one thing to hope, for a particular candidate. It's the other thing to make a decision based on a choice architecture that is available. And if his concern is education, I think the Congress for Democratic Change addresses that appropriately, posted front and center in its platform. The other thing I wanted to touch on is the importance of patriotism in this entire mix. I think that if our leaders were patriotic, most of the issues we face or we've been facing would have been resolved. The reason why we have a lot of corruption is because we have prevalence of people who pretend to be very educated and yet are unpatriotic. Because if you love your country, you will not deny the common people the chance of having better education by draining the resources that are needed for them to go to school through corruption. And so it all comes back to patriotism. Of course, competence is important, but patriotism has to be put front and center, and that issue is extremely important. I think George Weah has exhibited that time again, and so I think he's the most qualified person.
Okay, John.
John,
thank you very much. John, are you still there?
Yeah, I'm still here.
All right. John, the issue that people have, and I asked Mr. W before about George Weah, is not patriotism, but you say is the key one. Most people are questioning his preparedness for the office, his communication skill, and sometimes they think that even with a master's degree, his presentation when he's making a speech does not represent that, and that's why that's their fear of having George Weah being the official spokesperson or the head of the country. Managing.
I think that's a misconception.
Okay.
Mr. Weah is very well qualified. There are people who want to box Mr. Weah, who want to put Mr. Weah in a particular box, who believe that the same candidate in 2005 is the same candidate today. And I think that's a very big mistake. Mr. Weah has exhibited a depth of knowledge on the campaign trail. We've all seen him. He's exhibited, a lot of compassion. He's challenged his opponents as he campaign. I think he has the ability to lead.
Thank
So the issue of the issue about knowledge, I think, is a straw man. This is an attempt by people who want to use the issue of Mr. Weah's education as a proxy for something else. Now, they'll have to tell us what it is. But certainly, I think Mr. Weah is very qualified, and he has exhibited it on the campaign trail. We've seen it. Those who know him can testify to that.
Thank you very much, John, and thank you so much for calling in. At this time, we're going to go back to Mr. Randall W., who's representing the Congress for Democratic, or the Coalition for Democratic Change. Mr. W., if you're on the line.
Okay, go ahead.
Hello.
Hello. The question on the floor, Mr. W., is what are the key issues facing Liberia, and what can a CDC-led government do to address those issues?
Thank you. Like I said, education is capturing about the people in one of our platform. It's just education. And just you have said, our party have said, we will make education a priority. Free, compulsory primary education. Why it will be free? Why? It's because they already describing people of our country are in economic calamity. They don't have food on their table. It is extremely unreasonable to have those people that are extremely unemployed paying school fees in government school and paying school fees in private school. So we are in the CDC is adequately prepared in order to widen the gap between the uneducated and the educated. Now, mind you, a report was just published by UNICEF, which says that Liberia tapped the entire world as it relates to primary skills that are supposed to be in school, not in school, according to UNICEF 2016 report, September. So if you have a country, quote unquote, that has this president that is prepared, and yet your country is regarded as country tapping the number in terms of number of high school students out of school, then what is the definition of preparedness? Why is the definition of preparedness today is your country, Liberia, according to the happiness index by the UN, Liberia is named as 8th most unhappy place on planet Earth. How prepared are those people that are leading right now? Because they have all of the quote-unquote education from Harvard University. So yes, the issue of preparedness is not about the presentation of knowledge. It's not just about filibustering with knowledge. It's not about the boastful posture you put up. It's about your ability to tangibly deliver. And that is the holistic reality to which CDC platform has put. We'll talk about education number one on our platform. There will be a foundational school system where our kids will go to school free of charge. Because if those kids go to school free of charge, the money used on school fee will be diverted to other economic issues, which is captured on page 2, which has to do with economy and job in our platform. And for the news is undecided, I can tell you this good news on session 3.
Thank you, Mr. W. Mr. W.
Yeah, hello. I got good news before concluding.
No, I want to follow up on something. I want to follow up on something, Mr. W. It is often said that show me your friend and I'll see who you are, right? One of the issues they also have with the CDC is that you are now in bed with people that you describe as the bad people, the cartel, or the corrupt people in government. So these are the people that are now supporting you and that are making sure that are working with you. So if these people, if you yesterday you call them corrupt,
I'm not a believer of that whole analogy that says show me your friend or tell you who you are. Mind you, I'm a Christian. When Jesus came on earth, Jesus was a divine being, but he was a friend with us. He was a friend with sinners. He met Zacchaeus. So are you telling me that Jesus Christ is a criminal because he has Zacchaeus as a friend?
Right. So what you are saying basically is it's not a bad idea if those that the CDC described as corrupt, the corrupt cartel are right now.
I don't know what is the empirical proof to illustrate that we are dealing with economic cartel. You know, we are in a country of law. There is nobody within the CDC that has been convicted of economic crime that we're shooting. There is nobody you can point to. You are speaking on a basis of rolling sentiments that has no illustrated empirical facts. We are telling you, we went into a coalition as a political party with 3 political parties. We did not go into coalition with individuals. So those political parties, they bring their platform, we brought our platform. We saw unitarism. We saw a point of similarity. So in our effort, we decided to collectively engage and disposition this government that have made our country economically, are a political party of law.
Thank you.
We deal with the rules of engagement consistent with law. We're talking about a country led by somebody who people say is prepared.
That's a fair point.
So I want to emphasize on the issue about people being prepared. What is the definition of preparedness if today your country, Liberia, in 2010, USAID gave a report. According to USAID, Liberia has 6,000 miles of road.
Rana Dubai is going to take over the show. He's going to take over the show, and now he's being protected.
Mr. Dubayo. Mr. Dubayo, that point was made earlier, so that's exactly. well understood.
No, I made the emphasis to clear out the issue of preparedness. Don't just prepare as a Liberian.
No, that issue of preparedness is clarified. That's a fair point.
So, but you keep emphasizing it, and the last caller who just left it now, you asked me again. So it tells me that you have now understood that issue of preparedness has nothing to do about political leadership.
John Sunday also addressed that question. I want to go to Gakon Moe if he's still on the line to address that question of what our country needs. So please stay by. All right, we'll be going on our break shortly, but before we go on our break, Mr. Glee,
yeah,
I want to come back to you because what I see here is if you there are 22 parties or 22 candidates, and some of them, one of them I remember was a pastor on the Buduburan refugee camp where I was, and this is an outstanding person. Mm-hmm. So most of the time what happens is there are people who the crowd follows, but you still have people very decent who probably you don't know. So I think, don't you think it is fair to describe what the ideal candidate should be, and then go through their platform to see who you can support as an individual, instead of a blanket no for everyone?
I think as a citizen of Liberia, I hold that right to choose to support somebody or not to support anybody. And I can tell you the truth.
So by default,
most of the political institutions you see today in Liberia, they are doing business. I can name one. Prince Johnson. He does business every 6 years. He had a party in recent time. When there was a lot of problem, they took the party from him. In 4 months' time, he produced another political party because he knew there will be a second round. That political guru will run to him with $2-3 million, and he said he will deliver Nima.
Okay.
So most of the political institutions, they are meant for business and not the good for the citizen. So some of them you're talking about, if you're telling me that you have a political party that is here, that you have the head office on 11th Street, but no one down 18th Street even know about that political party, are you prepared? Like even the pastor you're talking about, Bujumbura, how informed the Liberian people when it comes to his minds or what he wants to do? Look, politics is not just about deciding to say, wake up in the night and see 4 kids in your house and your wife looking good, you say, I want to be president. No. It's all about preparation. How prepared is he? Being pastor on Bujumbura camp does not prepare you to be leader for Liberia. How many persons know about what you want to do? What's your track record? Like another guy called from Liberia, he telling me that Mil June is about to take out the property. Mil June sat over Central Bank. He starts to run campaign with state money, almost like taking a monkey and using the tail to tie the neck. And Liberian people call him good man. Since he left Central Bank, how many loans he giving out? Since he left Central Bank, how many loans he giving out? Look, let me be very clear. Mel Jones, at the time I was at the University of Liberia Student Union as vice president, Mel Jones gave 6 million to the students. Oh yes, we celebrated. But I said this particular money that he gave is almost like taking my tail and using it on my neck. It's not good. You're giving loan without collateral. What sense does that make? Who's going to pay such money? Who's going to pay back? So he took the Liberian people money, gave it to prepare as though it's almost like you're going to the pool to fishing. You're not dropping those material there because you love the fish. You're not dropping it there because you want to take them out of the water. And that's what Mil June is doing. So people see him as a political godfather that have come to, look, he's just a prepared cartel giant to take people out of this place. And I would never support him.
Thank you so much. We have another caller on the line.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
Thank you. All right. Let's go, Mr. Kamara.
Yes.
Let's go to the ANC. Mr. Cummings, as from what I see, he's been here right here in Atlanta.
Yes.
He was doing very good here.
Yes.
Okay, and now he's gone back to Liberia to run. At one point, he was disqualified based on the 10-year residency clause. The question is, if and then there was a Supreme Court ruling that qualified him. People are saying, if they are saying that he broke the rules. Okay, so if because we talk of corruption, so it's very possible that his qualification could be because of something else. Okay, so if he went through some way or if there was some arm twisting done, I don't know, to qualify him as president, how can we be sure that he's going to be that law and order, stand for justice and stand for all of us?
What, don't you have a president in Liberia right now?
Yes, we do.
Okay, don't you have a constitution?
There is.
Don't you have a Supreme Court?
We have all those.
Okay, didn't he went through the system?
He did.
Okay, then the system found him innocent?
And that's an area.
Answer my question.
And that's an area that we want. The Supreme Court found him innocent.
Okay.
Yeah.
So once you find a man innocent, he's free, right?
Yeah.
Right.
So it doesn't matter what you or I have to say.
I got a question for the ANC.
Right. All right. So we are almost out of time. So we're going to be just get your final words on focus on Liberia. Let's start with you, Mr. Kamara. What's your final word to the Liberian people?
Well, ladies and gentlemen, my final word to the Liberian people is vote with your conscience. And you all understand that we are in a critical moment of time. This is a transition period for Liberia and for every one of us. If we all want to have peace and a better Liberia, I think with all my heart that Mr. Cummings is the best candidate for this time and this period of time.
Thank you so much. I'll go to Mr. Glee. Your final thoughts.
All right, I want to take this time to encourage all Liberians come to attend. Make sure you go to the poll, vote your conscience, vote who you believe can make this change. Liberia need a leader that will have a mindset of being an entrepreneur to prepare young minds to take over and develop their nation. I believe we should make sure that we all go to the poll and vote, and it was a pleasure being here to be part of this particular noble discussion.
Okay, we go to Mr. Randall W. from CDC for his closing comments.
Very much. My closing comment, vote CDC, vote George Weah. George Weah understands the economic reality of Liberia. He knows what it means to live in poverty. He knows what it means to live in riches. Don't vote Alexander Cummings because he's an American boy who is disconnected from the reality of absolutely disconnected. You understand Liberia by theory. He doesn't understand by practical reality. George Weah lived in poverty. He grew in poverty. He understands poverty. He went in riches. So this is a man who knows the difference between riches and poverty. George Weah has that integral reality that can be delivered. And our agenda, is CDC agenda for prosperity. We have 4 fellows. Has everything is inclusive. Ronald Glee, good news is fellow 1 talks about youth reintegration and empowerment. Right? We intend to make MPTC an institution that will be redeemed from antiquity to modern.
Thank you, Mr. Dubayo.
So thank you very much. I hope to come back next time. And I'm relatively not treated well today, and there is not enough time. But all it was good. You made everything.
Thank you. Do we have Mr. Gako Moe on the line for his closing remarks? Okay. If Mr. Gako is not there, I want to thank you, gentlemen, both in studio and also on the line. I want to thank our viewers around the world. I want to thank you so much for coming. We appreciate it. And again, this is Focus on Liberia. We come to you every week. Sunday at 7 p.m. we broadcast right here in Atlanta. Please follow us on Twitter, on YouTube, and also Facebook. You can also watch this on TV International. Until next time, my name is Dennis Jar. God bless you.
Thank you.
Don't move, don't move, don't move. You gotta take charge of your show, Dennis. Your mic on you.